Well, hello, Viking football fans, and welcome to this edition of the Billy Skinner Lamar Viking Football Coaches Show. I'm Bill Frawley, and with me, as always, of course, head Viking football coach and Lamar athletic director, Billy Skinner. Coach, how are you today?
I'm good. It's Monday, so it's the funnest day of the work week.
I like that attitude. I like that attitude. Well, we'll just kind of get right into it. The Vikings took on the Martin Warriors last week at Choctaw Stadium, always an interesting location to play.
Yep.
You know, the baseball field converted to the football field. The first half was tight. It was close. Both teams came out, you know, a few mistakes here and there. And tell us a little bit about how the first half was going and kind of the game plan and just the situation.
Yeah. First half, obviously defense came out and they played lights out. Um, they had a plan to try to take away certain facets of what Martin really likes to do and wants to do, and felt like our guys did a great job with that. Guys like Tevin Booker, who plays defensive end for us, and he had a really great week of preparation, and he had a very specific job to do, and he was really good at executing that. And I think that he was kind of a catalyst for the rest of our guys. He did a good job of doing his job, which then allowed Marquise Rice to do his job, which then allowed Braylon Williams, the freshman inside linebacker, to do his job. So that kind of cohesive playing, that kind of cohesiveness on the defensive side, that allowed for a very physical first half out of those guys. Offensively, we were moving the ball really well. Quarterback was seeing it. He was making really good decisions with the football, pulling and throwing, handing it at the right times. We had a couple of really explosive plays in the first half, and we were able to finish off with that field goal to tie it up. I was pleased with how our kids came out and competed that first half. I was pleased with the energy on the sideline. I've got to talk about our special teams, and for most of the special team facets, kickoff return, kickoff, those guys did a fantastic job. I mean, Cooper Barnard knows that onside kicks are coming his way, and you know, he's just a hard-nosed, tough dude, and sometimes you got to go up and catch it, and knowing you're going to take a shot, and I mean, just no flinch in that kid, and so that was impressive. We've got to get better with our punt unit. We've got to get better with how we're coaching that up. We've got to get better making sure those kids get enough reps throughout the week so that we can confidently execute, because we did not in the first half, and that's where Martin got their first touchdown, was a botched snap punt combination, and so they have a short field to work with. We can't give good teams short fields, so that's going to be a focus for ours this week, is just making sure we shore up that punt unit and make sure that we do a better job there.
Ask a question real quick, if it's all right. Don't want to interrupt your flow.
No.
On punts, there's a lot that goes into that, and I think it's easy for people to sit in the stands or listening or whatever, watching a replay and go, you get the ball, you snap it to the guy, whether he's 10, 12, 15 yards deep, and you get up and block. But there's a lot more to it than that, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a lot of different, you know, it's not like X's and O's on a page where this guy's always going to be in this spot. People move, people change gaps, people do it really fast, and people do it very violently. And so being able to think on the run just like that, and know that, hey, I've got to protect this or I've got to protect that. Sometimes it's a lot easier said than done, and like I said, so for us, we've got to spend a little bit more time on. We spend quite a bit of time, but we don't spend enough time, and so for us, we're going to spend more time on what those kids need to see over and over and over again.
Well, you know, one thing that I think everyone has realized over time, but whether the defense is going against a standard first, second, third down offense or a punt, the defense gets to move around. Like you were just saying, they've changed gaps and all that. The offensive line, the punt line, they have to get set and stay. Yep. And I've always thought that's kind of a little unfair in a way. Now, of course, when your team's on defense, hey, great, make the best of it. but that's got to make it tough no matter what situation. That defense being able to move around and just in the mind, the snapper, the line, they have to start thinking. And the play was called, but do I move to the left? Do I move to the
Right.
right? How am I going to block? And okay, well,
Yep.
there's a lot to
You,
that.
you've got to follow the rules. Obviously, offensive line, pump protection, all of that. You have rules that are in place, but at the same time, uh, it's easy to say it when those X's and O's are stagnant on the page. Man, those guys move, and then some of those X's are really, really freaking fast, and so it it matters.
Definitely so. All right, so you come out in the second half, and there was some speculation in the booth as we were watching it play out, especially the beginning of the third quarter, that all right, so maybe Martin adjusted some, and Lamar didn't adjust quite as much, either to
Yeah.
those adjustments or whatever.
Yeah.
What can you say from the coaching and players' perspectives?
Yeah, I think I've got to do a better job of getting our guys ready in the second half. I mean, I think that's what it comes down to. I took the approach of keep it in striking distance, so that we can keep it close in the fourth and maybe have an opportunity to get a late score and those kind of things. And I think when you do that to your offense and your defense and your specials, you kind of take away some of the things that they were doing well in the first half. It's a little bit more of a conservative approach because you want a shot at the end of the game with one possession. You want it to be a one possession game, and I don't think that's what our kids needed. As I go back and I look at what we were doing well, and because we did that, and because I handicapped us a little bit, that put us behind, and then that kind of changed the whole flow of everything. So I've got to remind myself to let our guys do what our guys do well, and to kind of, regardless of what the situation is, stick to those things that we do well, and not necessarily try to play that game within the game of striking distance and that. No, just be us. Go do what we do. So that's kind of what I'm going to take from this week, regardless of what happens in that first half. Whatever we're doing well, I want us to continue to do that, no matter what the situation is. That way, our kids can play freely, and because I think they tightened up because I made it tighter. Our kids play loose. Our kids play better, and so I'm going to do a better job this week of making sure our kids are doing things they're comfortable doing and able to play loose how they want to play loose. So, I told the kids at the end of the game, that second half, it's on me as the leader. It's on me as the vision it wasn't the right approach. I took the wrong approach, and so it sucks because you want to give your kids a shot and you want to do what you think is right, and then you go back and you realize, crap, that wasn't the right call.
Well, it's a learning experience.
Yeah,
and,
no doubt.
And again, I think a lot of people, players, families, fans, whatever, hey, for a coach to come out and say, okay, I made some mistakes. It's on me. We'll adjust next time. We'll let them play looser. Because, you know me over now the last 2.5 years, whatever. I kind of have rose-colored glasses. Maybe some people might say I'll find the positives. Look,
Right.
It was not a blowout an entire game or anything.
No.
Lamar Vikings have talent. Lamar Vikings do what Lamar Vikings do well. They showed it in the first half. So I'm going to say, at least I see a lot of optimism. I see the skill, the ability to drive the fight. So when it all comes together, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I completely agree. Agree, and we're on the cusp. We're right there. We just, again, I've got to let our guys be our guys all the way around.
Sure. Well, let's talk for a few moments about the sub-varsity, the JV and freshman teams. I know some of them had some tight games also. Mm-hmm. What can you tell us? Because, that's the next wave of the future of the Viking program. How were they all doing?
So both of our gold teams, very, very competitive against Martin's team, their second teams, and came up short by one possession with the freshman. What I told our guys last week was, don't worry, you're going to have another crack at them, and they get another crack at them this week. So the Martin's on their bye week, and Sam Houston only has one sub-varsity on the JV and one sub-varsity on the freshman team. So we were able to schedule Martin again this week. So we get another opportunity for those guys to see what they did on film and go through and make an adjustment. get after one another once again. So both of those teams did a great job of just going out competing, making some big plays and making some bad plays that you can learn off of on tape. The JV Navy team, man, they made some really big explosive plays. It was really tight going into the second half, really tight going into the fourth quarter. Martin kind of pulled away, but very pleased with the progress of that group. Very pleased with guys like Seven Ogletree, who plays quarterback on that group, and I mean, kept plays alive with his feet, did a great job of keeping his eyes downfield so he can find Camille Pruitt and he can find Bakar El Saad, and giving those guys a shot to make plays. So that was really encouraging. And then the freshman Navy team, they remain unbeaten. They played a really physical, fun first half. And then it got a little shaky. There was some turmoil there towards the end of the half. And then they came out in the second half and they were who they always are. And they took command of the game again. They ended up winning 37-6. And just guys like Samari Wilkins, who made, we run a screenplay to our running back Gibson, and Samari gets out in space and he finds a poor DB and gets him and then gets on him. And I mean, just big time blocks like that. And you see him get up and he's all fired up. Those kind of plays are game changers. And those kind of plays are the ones that set the tone for the entire team. So that was really impressive. Jamarcus Thomas in that group. He's that big kid I was telling you about that in most years might play offensive line for the Lamar Vikings, but because there's a good group of offensive line in that freshman group, he's actually able to play some tight end and some defensive end. Well, he's out at tight end and he's blocking in space like he's one of those pencil neck receivers. And I mean, he does it so violently. And so he's able to make some big plays on the edge so that Deshaun Curley can get loose and make some big explosive plays. And so, yeah, they did a lot of really positive things offensively and a lot of positive things defensively. Zion Johnson is flying around, making big hits. We've got a kid named John Meredith, and he's that quarterback for that Navy team, but he's also that free safety. And there's some things he does from that safety spot where me and Coach Naharo, the defense coordinator, look at each other and we're just like, holy crud, that kid can move, he can play. So very exciting. Very excited for those kids that they're able to keep their journey going, and their number one goal is to win a district championship, and so they did a good job of taking that first step.
Cool. Now you mentioned, and I love hearing this, and I love seeing it when I'm able to be up there on Thursday or Wednesday nights for the freshman JV games and doing that announcing stuff. I wasn't there last week, but so do these explosive plays, to these violent, powerful blocks, and all these things, does that have any impact on the varsity players? Do they ever see either in person or on film or something go, wow, that was great? Does it kind of motivate them as well?
No doubt. And it's, whenever they're at the game, they have probably more juice than anybody in the stands, or they'll be on the sideline and they've got all kinds of juice because it's exciting. It's exciting to see, hey, this is the stuff that we do and it's working. And if you execute, this is what it can look like, and that's what it looks like. So yeah, they definitely they bring the juice for those guys.
Okay, well, this week taking on the Sam Houston Texans. Now let's start with the Thursday night, the sub-varsity. You just mentioned there will be one freshman game at home, is that correct?
All right, so
am I mistaken?
There'll be two freshman games at home, so we'll play Martin with the first game. So Martin's second team will come over and they'll play at 5:00 here at Cravens.
5?
Yes.
Not 5:30.
No, not 5:30. They'll play at 5:00. Okay. Then the freshman Navy team, they will take on Sam Houston at 6:30 here at Cravens.
Okay.
So we'll go Martin at 5, and then we'll play Sam Houston with our Navy at 6:30.
Okay.
Now it gets even wonkier because now JV will play against Martin. So our JV gold team will play Martin at Workman at 5:00.
Okay.
Keep following along. And then our JV Navy will play Sam Houston at Workman at 6:30.
Okay.
As long as you don't make me tell you what everybody's wearing, my head won't explode, because that's all the logistic things that we
Follow
have
the
to work out.
bouncing ball. And I'm sure this will all be put out on Sports U and communicated
Yes.
on the website and everything
Yep.
else. And hey, speaking of the website, I'm always like to find a way to give a plug to Jay Ryan, who helps keep the website updated. He's our producer for the broadcast and everything. So, but yeah,
Yes.
okay. So for people, go to the website, look at Sports U. You'll have it all there. And then Friday night,
Friday
Cravens
night.
Field hosting
Yes.
the Texans.
That's right. And it's our feeder night. So we're really excited about that. We're going to have a ton of future Vikings coming out. Kids that play on local football teams. They're going to come join us and be our guests running through the tunnel at pregame. And so very excited to see all these future Vikes.
Excellent. You want to give another plug to donate sports drinks?
Yes, please. If you find it in your heart, please donate some of the Gatorade or some of the signature electrolyte drink, please. Our kids really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
I've had some parents ask me, "Hey, what's the best way to do that?" If you just reach out to me and let me know you're downstairs, I will be down there to help collect, or I'll send a coach down. But there's always somebody around this place to accept donations.
Awesome stuff. Well, and I will always remember, and maybe I'll make another one sometime when I'm in town, but I remember being at the hydration party
Yeah.
that Thursday, and I hope to do another one when I'm in town. But I got to tell you, I actually used a picture of them having one of their sport drink kind of drinking contests in church to
Yep.
say, because the pastor was doing a sermon about becoming a superhero and the training. I said, hey, these guys become superheroes on Friday nights on the
Yep.
field. And it was just played in and timed out real well with that. So anyway,
That's
but
awesome.
anything else you want to add before we close off this week, Coach?
No, super excited. Well, I say no, and then I give you something. Super excited
Yeah.
for our girls volleyball team. They took on South Grand Prairie to finish up the first round of district this week, and the old Spiking Vikings got a win.
I like the Spiking Vikings, man. I think Coach Woodman may have a new kind of
I'm,
nickname for her
I'm
team
telling
then.
you, we might need
Spiking
to get some
Vikings.
shirts. Yeah, we're gonna get some shirts made. The Spiking Vikings.
I love that. Okay. Anything else to add on?
No, it's a big week in North Arlington, and we're excited to be here and work hard for our fans, for our families. All the sports are really excited to get going this week.
All right. Well, until next time, I'm Bill Frawley with head Viking football coach Billy Skinner saying VFND.
VFND.